This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can be a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help you find options within your budget. Try it today at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Hi, I'm Jeffrey Craner, and my friend Cecil Baldwin loves horror movies, and he's helping make this genre more approachable for me and hopefully for you too, one film at a time in a random order. Are you squeamish about horror movies? Don't worry, we'll tell you what happens. Adore horror movies? Well, great. Watch along with us each week. And as always, check the show notes for content warnings about this week's episode discussion and films. So, as is tradition on Fridays the 13th and Halloween's, we're covering a few horror shorts this episode. These were randomly drawn from suggestions by our Patreon members, patreon.com/randomhorror9. For $5 a month, you get monthly live streams where you get to help us pick the film, as well as access to our back catalog of more than 60 live streams. You also get ad-free episodes of our regular podcast. You can also join as a free member of our Patreon, where you get weekly discussion threads of every episode, one annual live stream, and you get to help us pick these horror shorts every time we do them. And speaking of horror shorts, let's get into it. Here is episode 314.
On a special Friday the 13th episode of Random Number Generator Horror Podcast number 9, Horror Shorts, featuring The Rolling Giant, 2024. Warning! Spoilers ahead.
La Reunion was a colony of European utopian socialists that settled along the Trinity River in present-day downtown Dallas. Many of them, including their founder, Victor Considerant, were French expats escaping Napoleon III. They farmed, raised livestock, shared the wealth, etc. They were also doing pretty well money-wise. Like, Texas's European immigrants were largely people who were able to buy land before coming to the New World. It wasn't a steerage class ticket straight to Ellis Island sort of deal, so La Reunion had plenty of bankers, developers, and academics in its population. Sadly, the La Reunion colony only lasted a couple of years, bad management and all. Still, those folks carried on and were a huge part of the cultural shaping of downtown and West Dallas. If you look at the Dallas skyline, the microphone-shaped building is called Reunion Tower, as it stands on the colony's former land and is named after them. Maybe the most notable of the colonists was Julien Reverchon, a French botanist who cataloged thousands of plants in the North Texas area, like American West plant life. He was cataloging it. Dallas even named a park after him. For all of its history in oil and shady politics and even a presidential assassination, Dallas loves its academics and artists. When Valley View Mall in North Dallas started losing business in the late aughts, the management allowed artists to use a section of old stores as studios. This went on for about a decade before they tore the mall down in 2023. And in 2013, when the city of Dallas opened the Margaret Hunt Hill Bridge designed by Santiago Calatrava. Oh, by the way, Dallas loves famous architects. When they opened that bridge over the Trinity River on the land that La Reunion once resided, there was a huge parade. Part of the parade were giant puppets, including one of botanist and French utopian socialist Julien Reverchon. And after the parade, artist Kevin Auberjon allowed his Reverchon puppet to be displayed in the artist galleries at the Valley View Mall. And in 2021, filmmaker Kane Parsons, creator of the Backroom series, found photos of a weird statue in a dead mall and thought, I gotta make this series. Hi, Cecil.
Hi, Jeffrey.
What's your favorite man-made structure?
Favorite man-made structure? I mean, I've met a few castles that I like.
Yeah.
I've met a few bridges that I like. But honestly, theaters are, to this day, like, I'm fascinated by an old theater from like the 1800s or before.
Yeah.
I think, what is it? The Newcastle upon Tyne theater is amazing because it is one of the only theaters in the world that still has the original underpinnings of the stage. And then when, like, it's the same age as Drury Lane in London, and then another very famous theater in Berlin. And when they, like, historians go to this place to see, like, how the theater structures were made, and it still has all the trapdoors and all that stuff.
Oh, very cool.
Nerd.
I really love a lot of contemporary modern architecture stuff. I mean, I'm always a sucker for really old school things. But to go back to Dallas, the Meyerson Symphony Center in downtown Dallas was designed by I.M. Pei back in the 1980s. And it's a stunning piece of modernist architecture. But it was also like this famously difficult building to get built because they hired I.M. Pei to do the building, but they hired a totally different person who was an expert in the field of acoustics to design the interior. So the outside is cold marble and steel and glass, very I.M. Pei, and the inside is the most lush and luxurious opera house you've ever seen. And I.M. Pei fucking hated it. But the acoustics there are world-renowned. It is very, very nice. It is very,
awesome.
very nice. Cecil, I failed to get us a guest for this Friday the 13th episode, but I did get us an author, an old friend, our WTF laureate of Random Horror 9. I got us a Sarah Griff. Hi, Sarah.
Oh, hi, Jeffrey. Hi, Cecil. I'm so happy to be back.
I'm brilliant. So happy.
It's great to be here.
Welcome back. And we're talking about some short films today.
Yeah.
I know. Like tapas.
Yep.
Horror tapas.
Like eyeballs and severed limbs. Lady fingers.
I reached out to you, Griff, because we were covering The Oldest View by Kane Parsons, or Kane Pixels is his YouTube channel name. But I had remembered that you had watched his Backroom. Was it Backrooms? Is that the name of it? His series? And really enjoyed it. So I was like, do you want to watch this creepy mall thing? And you're like, I'm down.
I feel like it rearranged me. I was up very late last night thinking about it because I think what he did with the Backroom stuff was really compelling, and what he does with animation basically is really compelling. Like he's got a really clear vision, and I know where all these visions come from because they're the same handful of terrifying images that have kind of been sitting around the internet since time immemorial. Like these images of half-empty rooms with wrong shadows, bad real estate photography taken to its nth degree, like how rooms laid out so poorly that they have become urban legends in themselves, you know? And using that as a starting point for building this whole world it's really compelling to me. Like, I think it's a really interesting way to kind of make work, you know? So I was delighted, and I loved the other shorts as well. It's a lovely, it's a real crescendo of shorts. You can kind of start out small and move up to this big 40-minute kind of silent odyssey, you know. I really, really, really enjoyed it.
Cecil, you said something before we started recording about that these shorts sort of really, really capture just the arc of a life.
That's it. It's the instead of the Shakespeare's 7 ages of man, we get the 5 ages of horror shorts. So you're young and you have some confusing friends. You hang out with your sisters and you get lost in a fort, in a box fort. You get a girlfriend who explodes your face off. You get a job and kill all your coworkers. And then you become old and you just wander around a mall until you die.
That's perfect. Those are the 5 stages of horror,
man. The 5 stages of man.
Beat by beat. And the mall is the longest part. Everything else goes by so quickly.
Because everything is confusing. Art is confusing. Nature's confusing. You're by yourself, just muttering to yourself. Where's the exit? Where did I park my car?
Well, we're gonna go a little out of order in terms of the chronology of life, but we'll go in order of the playlist that we were all sent. And so let's start with Every Time We Meet for Ice Cream, Your Whole Fucking Face Explodes by Anthony Cousins. This was suggested by Patreon user Tyler Williams. Thank you, Tyler. Love a title that is a complete sentence.
This title goes hard.
And it tells you what it's about.
And for such a sincere little film, it's such a silly title. You kind of, it sort of sets you up for something that you don't really experience. It's a very earnest little piece of cinema. I thought it's so lovely. It's almost like a comic book strip in itself, both in its kind of beautiful colors. It's so
Yeah.
playful. It's got a real kind of Archie sort of energy to it or something, these lovely diners, these fabulous, very obvious costuming. And
Yeah.
then it has this really tongue-in-cheek title. It's a lovely balance, I think.
I was getting like early Tim Burton.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Like Edward
Yeah.
Scissorhands era Tim
Scissorhands.
Burton, because
Yeah.
it's the living in a pastel world of suburban America, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But then it kind of ends with, Mars Attacks skeleton faces.
Uh-huh. So the basic plot of this is bullies on a bus, they're just shithead teens on a school bus. And this beautiful young girl gets on, and our kind of central nerdy boy who's getting picked on, he just can't keep his eyes off of her, and everyone is glaring at this girl, but he lets her sit next to him, and it's very sweet. And then he writes her the note, "Will you be my girlfriend, yes or no?" Does the classic trick that all girls love, is if you throw something
Just
at them.
fling it.
Works every time. Works every time.
I was a little shook when I was like, she's going to respond. Yay. Oh no, she's going to bite her finger and respond in blood. Now listen, if you respond in blood to "Will you be my girlfriend?" I think you're like bonded for life at that point.
Yeah.
Teenage girls are not to be fucked with. Teenage girls are that hardcore. As a very accurate representation of being 16 and being serious is a heart attack.
I liked the weird little detail of the banner on the side of the bus. Like, it's got a real, like, homecoming energy sort of vibe. But the banner on the side of the bus, I think, is supposed to be their school mascot, which is Spider Bunny.
Spider bunnies. Somebody's been listening to too much Night Vale.
It's drawn, and it did have that. I feel like it had very strong, energetic underpinnings of a Night Vale kind of vibe, which was lovely to see. I think.
I think it's like the first day of school.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of what I thought, because it had like a welcome back.
Yes, you're right.
Welcome back, students.
Spider bunnies.
Welcome back, Spider Bunnies.
This is I love a weird mascot name, like when we did Happy Death Day, that the name of the university's mascot is the babies, the Bayville babies. Okay, so these two meet for ice cream, and it's your classic like high school meet cute. He's like, "I think you're pretty. Don't you think I'm weird? You think I'm weird? No. Look at your eyes. They're so gorgeous. Whoa, whoa, whoa." They start glowing. Something fierce. She's also what's that called? The what's the condition where you have
heterochromia. She's heterochromia.
Yeah, heterochromia. Yeah. He finally touches her hand, and in that moment, her eyes not only glow but grow, and then kaboom! We just see blood splatter every direction all over the girls at the table next to them. Beautiful.
My favorite kind of like low key line was the like after the young girl, she's like covers her face, she runs off crying. The other two girls are like, don't eat that.
Yeah,
that was stunning. That was brilliant. It was such a throwaway moment. This is sort of like, disgusting. Don't eat that. Yeah,
like brilliant. No, I'm not going to eat my blood splattered softie cone. Thanks, Sheila.
Next time on the bus, as our young girl's getting on the bus, he sees her again, and he's still super in love. But this time, we had seen like stitches around her face earlier.
It was like
not
scars.
stitches, scars. But this time we see those same scars, but they're fresh stitches. So like, this has happened a few times.
She had to put her face back on.
Yeah. And she's so embarrassed she won't even sit next to the boy. And at lunch, his friend says, "Hey, what are you doing with that girl? You're not into that freak, right? I heard her dad is a mad scientist and keeps doing experiments on her, and her mom is an alien. And if that's not true, she at least has spiders in her hair. I know that's true."
I know that for sure.
Just really capturing the heart of just junior high and high school life.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And also the valiance of a sweet boy who likes her. He's sort of unflinching in the face of this rumor mongering and nonsense,
Yeah.
Like he's a stand-up boy.
I like the maturity of just saying, like, yeah, that might be weird. Like, maybe in an ideal world, those things don't happen to her, but also I just like her. And it's part of love, right? Is that you take the good and the bad. You take the
You're
good.
the prettiest girl in school.
You take the bad.
You take the bad.
Both.
Take them both.
And so, yeah, I love that. But then he approaches her and says, hey, I don't care if your face explodes or there's spiders in your hair. I think you're great. Here, I got you a little locket. And then her face starts pulsing. He's like, calm down. Just breathe.
Whoa, 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 now.
And it works for a moment, doesn't it? It's kind of nice that you sort of see this inkling of hope for the future, where it's like, oh wait, she can kind of get a handle on it, And I think, obviously, not necessarily thinly veiled, but like that's parallel with what you're just trying to do as a teenager. You're trying not for your face to explode every time you talk to somebody, and there's this nice little moment of, oh wait a minute, she can temper it.
Yeah, take a few deep breaths. Suppress.
Hold it in.
Suppress.
And then back at the ice cream parlor for our final scene. I love this compliment. I like your new eyeball.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, I also like that she says, you can kiss me if you want to, which is such a sweet thing to say as a teenage girl. And like, I just found that on a language level really earnest and really like a normal thing a teenager would say when they like somebody else and they're kind of trying to move forward. I just found it really sweet.
But he responds like, I do. No, listen, I really do. But last time I just kind of touched your hand and your whole face exploded. So are you okay? Are you going to be okay? She's like, it doesn't, it happens so much it doesn't even hurt anymore.
And then she leans in and kisses him, and her face explodes, which explodes his face too. And both are left with Mars Attacks bulgy-eyed skull faces.
Full Mars Attacks.
And they both kind of laugh and then kiss teeth. The end.
Is that not what we are all looking for in this life?
Yeah.
That's it. Someone who accepts your weirdness, treasures it, and still wants to make out with you.
And whose face also explodes.
See?
Someone who is also on that tipping point of destruction. I thought it was gorgeous. My note on it was Riverdale wishes. So sincere and so playful, like just a lovely experience. You kind of spin it on the top of your finger as like a perfect little love story with a lovely punchline. It's just gory enough to be a bit, in order to, as we voyage through this playlist, myself and my husband Kerry started making noise back at the film, which increased as the playlist went on in order to diffuse how distressed we were becoming as the films go on. But this one has such a just such a thrilling little edge to it. It's such a fun time,
This batch of horror shorts, because we always note on our horror shorts episodes, Sarah, that that there always kind of is, you start to see themes. And I think Cecil's 5 Stages of Man was a really good theme to look at. But it's interesting that these 5 shorts, we got 2 that are distinctly bloody and funny. Mm-hmm. And then 3 that are really just about, what am I looking at? What's in the shadows? Like, what are the creepy
absence. Yeah. The absence of something. Well, I would say with the exception of All My Friends, which is like, no, you're going to look at some weird shit.
Yeah, you're going to look at weird, creepy things.
But certainly the last 2, it's like you're waiting for the thing to appear.
Well, let's talk about All My Friends, which, listen, you talk about just like an experiment of like, let's make creepy shit. Did you all ever just like, as a kid, maybe you do it as an adult, do you ever just try and freak yourself out in the mirror? Could you ever just like make crazy faces at yourself in the mirror? Or should I just shut off my mic now and go to bed?
No, that's fair. That's fair.
I think with the I definitely did spend a lot of time trying to frighten myself as a kid, but not necessarily with my own face. I was always looking to be afraid on purpose. Mm-hmm. Still am, genuinely. And I think the way that this is executed is very but also it's an escalation towards unsettlement, and I think it's executed really, really well. It's quite simple. I also, in the way in which I am allergic to a bad wig, I have a confession. I am allergic to a child actor.
Yeah.
In general, I do not believe that children should be in films, and I kind of never have. I'm like, those babies alone. Leave them outside. Don't be putting them in the screen. However, this kid held their own pretty strongly. I think they weren't too hammy. It wasn't too gee whiz, mister, I sure do see some spooky guys in my dreams. Like, it wasn't too hard on that. Was not terribly difficult to look at, which I appreciate. In the way of a bad wig, I know it's a wig, but I can look at it. A child actor for me is similar. You know, I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? And I also loved the use of the what they did with the therapist. When you first see the other character, you don't see her head.
Yeah.
Or the father's head either.
Yeah, it's real Tom and Jerry, right? Where you see the legs, the woman's legs on the chair, but not the upper body. I love that technique. I thought it was really striking, and really it telegraphs something about the position of the audience, and that we're meant to be on the child's level.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, we are relating to the child on his level rather than the greater scene, the scene as a whole.
Yeah, and it's really not until we see her face, Dr. Baylor's face, that kind of thing. She is now being folded into this story. She has been brought into his world.
She's been immersed.
Yeah. So this is called All My Friends. It is suggested by Patreon user Nosebleeder, and it is a 2025 short from Colin Tunney. Yeah, we get this. The very first shot is like kind of like a blue washed screen of a boy screaming almost like underwater or in a dream, like in a liminal state.
Like just having a tantrum.
Yeah. But then it cuts to him just at the dinner table. And then
With
boom,
spaghetti.
Psychiatrist's office, mom and dad being like, please talk to him.
Please listen, we talk to him and he just gets so riled up when we don't believe him. And she's like, hey, I'm just here to, we're just going to spend some time together. Come on in, kid.
Yeah, she asks about dreams. And do you ever remember your dreams? Yeah, sometimes I have dreams in the day. Tell me who you see in your dreams. Well, there's Dennis.
Okay.
And then it cuts to a shot of just all these people are masked, but almost like human, like human mask. So it takes you a second to register that's a mask.
Yeah, Dennis is just creeping behind a door jamb. It's like, and then sometimes I see the cupcake man, like in the tag yourself out of this kid's friend group.
Yeah.
For sure, cupcake man.
Okay, the reality of my life is that I find absolutely nothing funnier than that whole shaving foam situation.
I know, right?
Yes.
And do you know why? There was a television show on the BBC called The Mighty Boosh. And Noel Fielding, who is currently the host of the Great British Bake Off, used to do these little vignettes as the moon, where he would be superimposed into the moon, but to make his face white, it would be covered in shaving foam. And he'd be like, I'm the moon. When you are the moon, you live up in the sky. Like, it was so stupid. But unfortunately, Mr. Cupcake, I was like, oh, it's the moon. Like, it just went straight there for me. Right through horror into a very particular kind of surrealist comedy that I hugely appreciate. I also have further suspicions that this filmmaker watched The Mighty Boosh because of the name of another character who we meet along the friendship carousel called Mrs. Susan.
Yeah, tag yourself, that's me.
Yeah.
Mrs. Susan.
Congratulations. Well, congratulations. In The Mighty Boosh, there was a figure called Mr. Susan.
Oh, okay.
I was like, I see some little piece of pleasant, connective, inspiring tissue in the way that these monsters are rendered, because The Mighty Boosh showed brilliant costumed monsters all the time. However, I do think that they are, especially Mrs. Susan with the hand, like they're rendered in a way that is, at first you're like, that's normal, and on second glance you're like, oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
And I think that there's lovely work being done in the costuming here that gives you a second blink that is infinitely worse than the first.
Agreed. Yeah, like setting up, Miss Susan, she's like, I don't know. She just seems kind of sad. I don't know if she's my friend, but she's just sort of sad. And you see just kind of a woman standing by a mini mall shopping
motel
mart.
or something. Yeah.
Motel. And then she
dress.
just runs at the camera, and you realize she has a face on her face.
Yes. Mrs. Susan was the one on here that felt the most, like, the least monstery. Like, she's scary, but, like, the most, like, oh, she just looks like a troubled woman who is, like, to me, it looked like a motel, and you just see, like, a woman with bloody hands running at what feels like a car window.
Yeah.
And just seeing that, I was like, oh, God, somebody help this poor lady.
Yeah. But it's the fact that she's like Leatherface.
Yeah. Once she has the leather face, you're like, you know what?
And also, and I love we slowly eke out information from this kid. He's like, yeah, on the way over here, I saw Miss Susan, and my dad didn't see her, and he was so mad that I was talking. Like, so we get this recurring thing of, now we understand why the parents are like, all your friends aren't real, kiddo.
Yeah.
But he's seeing them in like daytime, nighttime. Now let's see, have you had any bad dreams? Are these all, let's see. Okay, we've had Cupcake, Miss Susan,
Dennis, and
Dennis.
now we're getting into the Shadow Man.
Shadow Man. Shadow Man's pretty creepy. Literally just a shadow. Yeah, just sort of like, you know, anybody who just sort of stands.
The more traditional upsetting monster name. Also.
Yes. Yeah.
Here with like, which are the names of like real monsters and which are the names of like kind of potentially sweet imaginary friends. I feel like when you start using words like shadow, we're like, well, we know what this.
Yeah. Well, because the next guy is Stanley, and Stanley is very scary because it's nighttime with like a flashlight filter on the camera, so you just only have like the center, and Stanley is just fully painted bright red.
I was like, oh, he's just a sports fan.
Yep.
Also, Stanley is one of those names that has a little bit of a murdery kind of vibe. Sorry to any Stanleys listening. I'm so sorry, but it doesn't it?
It's like a Clarence.
And I don't know if you guys have the brand of a Stanley knife in America, but a Stanley knife is a thing here. I don't know. I feel like that resonates with me as not sure about that.
We have the two different Stanley cups here.
One of which is arguably a weapon too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I
mean, you get a little feisty with it. You know?
Get into this cup. Yeah.
I guess Americans have the Stanley drinking cup and the Canadians have the Stanley hockey cup.
Yeah.
Both of which would be great weapons. Yeah.
Big dumb cup.
We get all of these images. She's asking him, do they... I thought this interchange about Shadow Man and Stanley was really interesting. I was trying to kind of parse something here, which was when he says the Shadow Man, we see the Shadow Man, and Dr. Baylor says, does he hurt you? Which I think is an important question. I mean, I don't know if that's how a psychologist should ask it, but it's an important question for what's happening in this dynamic. And he almost immediately cuts her off and says, I had a dream about this guy named Stanley. And then we cut to this red man. And so it was really, I couldn't quite wrap my head around whether or not any of these were a metaphor for, you know, to go really dark, like child sexual abuse or something like that, or if they just simply were what they were. Because a lot of times when we start dealing in this realm of children drawing creepy things or having imaginary friends, it's usually because it's a metaphor or it is a direct traumatic response to a really bad situation in their home. And he seems to be so flooded with these monsters or creatures or friends.
There's so many,
that it may mean nothing at all. Maybe that's the point.
This is the thing. This is what I was at a loss with this film is that like it sort of was. It was very non-interrogative. Oh, sorry. But it was this is what I mean about making movies with kids in them. You know, like is this just about the kid said something weird? Is that what we're doing here? And I don't know. I have a slightly different perspective on that stuff at the moment, and given that I have one knocking around, but I think kids. I think on one hand, on like a very like earnest, like I think it's very interesting how kids do have a sort of a fluency with fiction, and they do like, you know, live closer to the veil and all that. But I also wasn't sure what they were doing with this kid. Like, was he a conduit? Was he experiencing something terrible in reality that was manifesting as these stories? And again, we move towards the end. There's a lovely moment actually where they do something interesting just after they show the therapist's face, where they change her voice slightly. Did you notice that?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah.
It was
Like she starts to
just
ask a question and it gets pitched down.
really, really slightly and really briefly. I was like, oh, okay, something might be happening here. But this only happens the once, you know?
One of the things I love about, I'm going to use your phrase, Sarah, horror tapas, is that so much about these shorts, what makes horror so fun as a short film genre is that it is like a joke, right? It is just like a single, we don't need to explore the nature of the joke. We don't need to explore the nature of the scares because we can just distill it right down to this is, you know what? Let's show some creepy fucking faces and child
Want to
drawings.
see something weird?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's just like a man walks into a bar. Well, what's his job? You're like, that is not relevant to the joke.
What kind of bar? Like, is it like a cocktail bar? Like a
Is it a cake bar?
Is it a gay bar? Like, is he
getting off?
men?
Yeah. Like not relevant. And you're right. And I've always said that like horror and comedy are next door neighbors because they're both extremely percussive. They rely upon a rhythm, a pattern. They both kind of rely. They're also both things that kind of transcend international borders in a lot of ways. Yeah. Like if you're watching Medea and you don't understand the language, you get the plot, sort of. But it's not, you're like having to go to the art versus watching, you know, like a commedia dell'arte or a horror short. Even if you don't understand what they're saying, the art comes to you, you know? And
both this film and the last kind of have a punchline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have a moment at the end where they sort of go, ta-da!
Yeah.
And I think the punchline is every 2 minutes in one of them. But like, they kind of, you're right about that rhythm. That's so interesting.
Well, in the last beat of this short, she asks him, Dr. Baylor asks Max, and I'm curious if we have any child psychiatrists, therapists in our Patreon mitts that could comment on this. I wasn't sure about if this is the appropriate question to ask a child, but she says, can you draw me the scariest picture in your head?
Dang.
Oh my God, my word.
Dang. Session number 1.
Woof.
And he's like, yeah, sure.
We're getting two of your favorite things.
Weird mummy face.
We're getting two of your favorite things in this series of shorts, Cecil. We've got being alone in a giant open space. You love that. God. And then we are also getting creepy child drawings.
It's like one of them I enjoy, the other one I don't. But I like them both, but for different reasons. Because creepy child drawings make me giggle. Alone in a mall makes me genuinely terrified for myself, my personage. I will say, so creepy face appears behind the therapist. That's kind of our button. But I really liked the post-credit blips.
Yes.
So did I.
There was just like 2 or 3, like so short. But what I found, what I found interesting is that they were much older iterations, like kind of like not like a 6, 7, 8-year-old, more of like what this kid is going to see when he's like 16, 17, 18, which I was like, oh, like, I don't know. I just thought that was like, I'm sure it's more creepy images, you know, but I found that kind of interesting. This idea that this kid is never going to be free of these friends, quote unquote.
The very last beat post credits of this short, it's just do you think we could be friends? It's really
so fun. I'll tell you what it felt like to me. It was this sort of like, we years ago went to see, I say shuddering, so long ago now. Not even that long ago, but long enough ago for me to consider it as the Myers of the past. Went to see Skinamarink in London.
Yeah.
And while the Rocky Horror Show played in the next theatre, and we could hear
you could just hear the underpinnings of
over this desolate suburban home.
He was a no good kid.
Yep.
It's incredible timing wise, and I think that world of childhood horror following you outside of the house is really I found that really, I think there's something there. There's something kind of like a loose tooth that I kind of want to poke at there. But this is just a lovely thought experiment, really, isn't it?
Yes, online shopping is quite literally at our fingertips, but that doesn't mean it's always simple to buy. Whether it's trying to remember one of a million different logins so you can actually place your order, or getting almost all the way through checkout before realizing your card is nowhere near you. There are many hiccups that can get between you and placing that order, which is why it's such a relief when you see that purple pay button that has all of your information saved, making checkout as simple as a tap of your screen. That iconic purple shop pay button is why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet, meaning less carts going abandoned and more sales going to you. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world and 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names like Thrive Cosmetics, Gymshark, and Allbirds, to brands just getting started. And they're not just great at converting sales. If people haven't heard about your brand yet, Shopify can help you find your customers with easy-to-run email and social media campaigns. And they have world-class expertise in everything from managing inventory to international shipping to processing returns and beyond. Tackle all of those important tasks from one place, making your life easier and your business operations smoother. See less carts go abandoned and more sales go with Shopify and their Shop Pay button. Sign up for your $1 per month trial today at shopify.com/realm. Go to shopify.com/realm. That's shopify.com/realm.
Disney Plus wants to know, are you ready? For Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts, The New Avengers, now streaming on Disney Plus.
Let's do this.
One of the best Marvel movies of all time is now streaming on Disney Plus.
Hey, you weren't listening to me.
I said Thunderbolts, The New Avengers is now streaming on Disney Plus.
Meet the New Avengers.
That's a cool name.
Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts, The New Avengers, rated PG-13, now streaming on, you guessed it, Disney Plus.
Well, let's talk about forklift driver Klaus.
Oh my God.
The first day on the job.
Oh, those Germans.
So fun. This was so fun.
This is a 2000 comedy satire by Jörg Wagner and Stefan Prehn. And this was suggested by many people on our Patreon, so it got drawn.
Well done. Well done.
I love a good training video.
I know.
I love a good unsafe at any speed type of warning video.
Love it. 90s, kind of something you would watch on a public access television show, or like when your teacher's like, I have a hangover, watch these videos in school.
You know what it reminded me of? I don't know if you guys have seen something called Look Around You.
Yes.
It's been a long time since I've seen Look Around You, though.
Yeah.
So
It's kind of like news format, right?
Educational
television.
children's television.
That's it. Yes.
Look around you.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
Yeah. So there's this pastiche of a really particular kind of educational television that I find I think it is so funny. I can't help it. It is programmed into me that this is the funniest shit on earth. And I don't know why. I thought it was painfully funny. And also at the same time, deeply unsettling. It like that rhythm you mentioned earlier, it has this really almost straight from the bat, loud and unexpected noises keep happening. There's a lot of crashing. The danger is right up there with you from minute one, but there's this very painful sounding chaos that you're aware is to come, especially given that this is a forklift driving instructional video.
I would like to point out, it is Klaus's first day on the job.
Man. You think you've had a bad first day on the job? Klaus has you ran through literally for a first day on the job.
Oh, I was gonna say, I love this sort of the lobster pot. Like, it starts out so subtle and small. You know, it's like, hey, congrats, you got your forklift thing. Let's go to the job. Now, some people, there's dedicated spaces for people and there's dedicated spaces for forklifts. Some people don't pay attention, so you gotta watch out. And one person kind of almost gets hit and kind of zooms in.
That was close.
Whoa.
And there's a crashing noise when that happens. That was what set me off. I was like, oh, this is very stressful.
You can feel your like pulse accelerating.
We're also laughing. Like it's great chemistry. It's great.
I just love the absolute empty-headed confidence that Klaus has throughout this whole film. He is smiling, thumbs upping. Even the way he drives this forklift does not look safe. He
40
looks
miles an
like
hour
he's
all the
whipping
time.
around like skirt. Like it's just the way he drives this thing around corners is so funny to me. But it's all with this big first day on the job, bright-eyed grin.
Serious golden retriever.
Yes. Okay, so can I just read to you the names of the characters in the cast?
Yes, please.
Not the
please
actors,
do.
these are the names of the characters. Well, we have the narrator, we have forklift driver Klaus, we have plummeting Helmut, we have Werner the Knife, we have No Hands Gunther, we have bisected Herbert, we have chainsaw Rudy, and we have headphone Paul.
Oh my God, headphone Paul.
Filmmakers take note. That's how you do
Headphone
it.
Paul, I lost
I know.
my life with headphone Paul. Like, it's the best drag night I've ever heard in my life.
No hands Klaus, or no hands.
No Hands
Helmut.
Gunther. Oh my God. All right. So we're going to get this constant narration of like, it is training film style, right? Like
it's educational.
Notice Helmut or notice Klaus and so Helmut is like, lift me up on the platform or whatever. And he's like, no, you know that this is unsafe. But then he goes up anyway because he just stands on a pallet and falls over. I like the constant ringing of the bell. Like it's the break bell or the lunch bell after every death.
It's the stop the presses, stop the machinery. Something has, everybody stop where you're at.
By about the fourth iteration, that bell is like covered in blood and breaking apart.
Because they've had so many stops during the day.
So our first real, it's not everyone, well, by the end everyone dies, but not everyone dies right away. Like first thing up, he's lifting a pallet up into the stacks or whatever they call them, and somebody left their box cutter on top.
Hey, have you seen my box cutter? Nope, sure haven't. I do love the fact that the box cutter falls straight into the guy's head.
Right into the head.
Of course. And he just kind of ding and breaks it off and then just goes to lunch with everybody else. He doesn't get a trip. He doesn't get a trip to the ambulance.
No.
Or a trip to the hospital in the ambulance. He just takes his lunch break.
Yep.
You can really, really feel it though. It's really puts your teeth on edge because of the way that it's standing and the expression on his face. And again, it's clowning, it's very silly, but it's also it really walks that line of incredibly stupid and incredibly stressful at the same time. It's kind of wild to be short-circuited like that,
I think, and going back to this idea of the educational video, it's because it's so sincere.
Yes.
The narration is so we're here to teach you right from wrong. Here's Klaus doing everything wrong, but there's no acknowledgement of the mayhem in the wrongness. It's don't do that. If you're going to pick up something unsecured, make sure to secure it with straps. And the next thing we see, that unsecured pane of glass is bisected someone in half.
It bisected Herbert.
Bisected Herbert. These are German garbage pail kids.
Yes, bisected Herbert and No Hands Gunther. Yep. So we learned don't work on the engine yourself. That is only for trained mechanics, because that's how Gunther loses both his hands, because Klaus starts the engine before he's done working on it.
I also just love the overly confident male energy that surrounds this film.
Except there is briefly a woman.
But even that,
skittering through on her high heels.
She is just there to be wolf whistled at by these men to distract them long enough before a chainsaw can hit them in the face or something.
I think it was actually a chainsaw. I think Klaus turned his head, and then there's further carnage as she kind of clip-clops through the warehouse.
She makes it out all right, if I remember.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, she's grand.
Yeah, so they're all wolf whistling this woman walking through the factory. She's got a clipboard, so she's got real inspector or foreman sort of energy. But so let's see if we can get this right. So first off, we've already bisected Herbert with this pane of sheet metal or whatever, but the pretty lady is going through. We do see that there is a man with a chainsaw. Klaus is driving wildly. He is whistling at the woman, suddenly sees a man, swerves, and then impales from the back the chainsaw guy, who now is through the chest on the front of the forklift.
Screaming.
Wildly screaming, waving his chainsaw, which also results in him, like, cutting these cables of something that whip around and cut Klaus's head off.
Yes. That's my favorite part, is that Klaus doesn't make it to the end.
Yes.
Like,
his forklift does, though.
His forklift definitely does. The forklift drives off into the sunset, like a hero in a Western. But yeah, Klaus loses his head, but that thing continues on. Headless Klaus. Chainsaw guy is still alive, holding the chainsaw, and at one point he uses the chainsaw to, like, curve around to avoid somebody.
Well, first, we're going to have to meet Headphone Paul.
Well, yes, listen, sometimes the work site can be very loud. Make sure to protect your hearing with those headphones.
And the audio goes mute for a second.
Yes.
So funny.
When he just hear the screaming, the muted screaming.
So
he gets impaled on the other fork of the forklift almost immediately. And every time we see his POV staring at the chainsaw guy, it's muted. But when we see the view of Headphone Paul from Chainsaw Guy, it's full. It's
just
no notes. Yeah, and then Bisected Herbert is still on the ground alive. And it's when they're like, the forklift is coming right at him. And Chainsaw Rudy uses the chainsaw to grab hold of a corner and turn. But then there's a moment where the chainsaw arm gets cut off and the chainsaw drags right back and then bisects Herbert again.
Yes. Well, yeah, he throws a hammer in its path and you see it like going through the hammer and he's like, whoo! But it's only a short reprieve because it just goes right through him.
Well, he really earned his name, didn't he?
He did.
He did. He's double bisected.
Yeah.
And then we just see the the forklift riding off into the sunset.
Brilliant.
The end.
Who says Germans don't have sense of humor?
This is also foreshadowing for a future ending of a different story. In terms of that we look at later on, there's a lot of weird shit riding off into the sunset.
Oh yeah.
that happens in one of the two forthcoming shorts as well. Things that shouldn't be on the road, frankly.
Yes.
For sure.
All right, let's talk about short film number 4. This is Box Fort, suggested by user Alyssa from Patreon. And this is a 2021 film from Tyler Chakowski, I hope I'm saying that correctly, as the director, based on the story by Mallory Eddy. Box Forts, you guys.
I love this opening. I love, because it's like pop, bubblegum pop 60s girl group. And it's just like some girls, we're home alone.
It's just women being girls.
That's it.
Some of my favorite things I love to see on screen is this lovely, cozy inventiveness of, hold on, we're going to do something together. And it's really, you really want to join in, other than the fact that you know that something horrible is going to happen. It establishes this, I hate using the word cozy, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Establishes
it's like
really
you've had a snow day and you're so bored that you're like, I don't know, fuck it, let's build a snow fort.
Yeah,
let's dig out all the boxes and build this through this big old American house, all of these corridors, and they're having such a nice time.
I know, like if the dog is involved, they're sliding
down. Which is a
down
Sheltie, a little collie, a lovely little working dog. Theo, the Sheltie, great dog. Yeah,
I have a suspicion this might be Canadian. I heard a few sorries in there. Just a hunch. As soon as and then kind of, so like, we're like, we made a box fort. We get our title card. And I was like, this is going to be like all girls House of Leaves, isn't it?
Like, Cecil, when I tell you that all I've ever wanted in my life is House of Leaves for girls.
Girls Night Out, House of Leaves. In Girls Night In, the box fort that never ends.
Today I was working with some master's students. I teach creative writing, and I asked the group, have they read House of Leaves? And all the girls recoiled. They're like, oh, with all data to do is come to us with a copy of House of Leaves. And I was like, if I was a Barbie, what would come with me? Would be my dead cat and my copy of House of Leaves. I was like, I didn't know this wasn't cool anymore. I just learned that this morning that it's not cool anymore. It's a dude thing now. But the idea of girls banding together to break the reality of a house with cardboard and love, presumably, is just a great, conceptually wonderful.
Yeah.
Like that's exactly the kind of stuff that I love, you know? I was like, this is for me. Thank you for this. This story is for me. But I found that what they did with the House of Leaves cardboard box is a little bit quiet.
Yeah.
Yes. I think they really made the choice. You're not going to see it.
Yeah.
I think they're like they drew a hard line in the sand of the unseen is scarier than whatever we can show you. And listen, I'm a big fan of artists that like make a choice and stick with it. It is. I do think they got a little bit late to the I am disassembling this fucking fort.
Yeah. Yeah.
Second the phone was gone, I'd be like, all right, girls, phone's over, get out of my way.
Fun time's over. Dog is gone. It's in here somewhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's fine that our dog is girls now. You'd be kicking it down in the night, like you wouldn't be waiting till the morning. Like I love daytime horror as much as the next person, but I'd be doing that at 12:30. Like,
oh yeah, no, I could not sleep with that thing in my room.
No, because the way they've got it done is it's a series of giant moving boxes that have all been connected from upstairs sliding down, and they've branched off into different rooms of the house too, like so each bedroom kind of has access to this fort. And yeah, I really did have to think through. I watched this film twice actually, because I was trying to think through, kind of like with all my friends. I'm like, what is the horror? Like, what is the root of what are we really afraid of here? And I think for me, it's a little bit of like a meta horror in the sense that it is. The expectation is that the box fort itself is the scare, right? Because it's called Box Fort, right? So that sort of implies like, eight-legged freaks. That's the enemy of our movie. But in this one, the Box Fort is cozy and then kind of scary because of the shit moving that you can't see within it. And I think when they finally decide to take the Box Fort down, it's this unsettling notion that whatever was in that Box Fort, it's still in the house. The Box Fort actually was a MacGuffin. Was
the door.
A red
herring.
herring.
Was the door.
Yes, you opened a portal.
You did something, you built something in this place that rearranged the logic and emotion and reality of the environment, and something got in because of what you did. Blech, that's scary. Or something got out by your beautiful sheltie is gone. Sorry, you fucked it. You broke reality, and now the dog is somewhere else. Maybe bad.
It took me. It took me a minute to realize what is the relationship between these three characters. And then when I was like, oh, it's three sisters.
Yes.
Left kind of teenage and younger, left to their own devices. So I was like, oh, the Box Fort is a metaphor for like when you play a little too deep into your childhood, like when you let your childhood imagination take over a little too hard in your adolescent, post-adolescent years. You don't realize that other shit gets in as well.
Yeah.
Kind of like a continuation of All My Friends. You let in fucking Box Fort Charlie.
Not Box Fort Charlie.
I know. Who loves dogs and iPhones.
And only partially covered in whipped cream.
I love dogs and iPhones.
You could live in my Box Fort.
What if we were the monster all along?
Yeah.
I think what was interesting in terms of the setup of siblings, so the absence of parents.
Yeah.
So I think the unspoken story to me was that these girls had been left to fend for themselves in some way, but there was enough older siblings to make that work. The presence of moving boxes in such great quantities. Maybe they've had to move on after something happened. Maybe they're settling in a family home after a tragedy. Like there's sort of there's an edge to the air, I think, in it that I really liked, a real depth that kind of doesn't lean too hard towards why these three women are living in this space together. I thought it was a real nice sleight of hand. I really liked it.
It definitely feels like a literary short story, and
Yes.
in the sense of like that it really is like a slight scare. It's almost like in the realm of a Shirley Jackson, right? Like where like the scare isn't overt, the scare is actually kind of just underneath. It is in all of us, and that's what's truly
just around the corner.
Yeah,
We have always lived in the box for it. Like, that's the
We
vibe.
have always lived
Yeah,
in the box for it. And we're going to draw straws to see who gets to leave.
Good luck.
I did love the breaking point for Muse, our oldest sister, when she crawls into the box fort that night because she sees, she can hear the dog. And so I think our biggest scary point is this move through the fort late at night and hearing the whimpering of Theo the dog.
And also
But the sound keeps changing direction.
Like the little doggy claws.
Eerie noises,
Doggy
yeah.
nails
That
on the
are
cardboard.
sometimes dog and sometimes not.
Yeah.
Something with four things on the ground anyway.
Yeah.
But I love the way the sound keeps changing direction on her.
Yeah,
And
she has to keep turning back. And also, that fort seems real long.
Yeah, it seems way longer than the house. House of Leaves, but for girls.
That's it.
But I think truly for me, like what would have scared me the most if I were her in that situation is when the box, like with weight, collapses on her.
Yeah.
And she skedaddles out and pops her head up out of the fort, and there's nothing in that room.
No.
And that's the scary part when you're like, no, something physically pushed this box down.
Okay, so she's like, this fucking thing, puts the blanket over it. And then when it's like like a pant, but not a dog pant, not a not a happy dog. And you see the breath of something very close to that blanket blowing it out, and then just a single finger. Like, no, ma'am.
No.
Absolutely not.
No, I'm over there just kicking that blanket in.
I have a flamethrower underneath my bed. This thing is done. Playtime is, we were calling the
Hammer,
parents.
frying pan, Doc Martens. You're not, either way, you're going down. Like, no thanks. Oh, yeah.
In the end, after this night in the box fort and the scary moment, the sisters are all still asleep, and Muse is like, she's the oldest. She's like, fuck it, this thing's coming apart.
Yeah,
and
for
she's
real.
got that thing completely broken down, ready for recycling by 6 a.m.
Yeah.
We are done. And it's in that morning, she hears noises up in her bedroom, and she goes up in there, and in the closet.
What's in the master bedroom? It's in the absent parents' bedroom.
Yes. In the closet itself, she opens up, and there's one more box covered in a blanket, and she opens it up, and there's Theo. Oh. And the window in this room is just wide open.
Well, and she, the day prior when all three of them were searching for the dog, she noticed the window, that same window was open. She's like, oh, that's weird. Closes it. So something
Open the
must
window.
have opened it. Yeah. To either it entered last night, it exited today.
And with a little note that said, sorry, I had to borrow your dog. Thank you.
Thanks for letting me play games on your phone. Nice one.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah.
I think with the dog.
Had to play some Candy Crush while I took your dog to the dog park.
Yeah.
Like the thing about dogs in horror, we all know, like that an animal is sometimes a trapdoor in these sort of stories. Like, again, I have a lovely border collie, and I'm immediately like, that's a working dog, that's a smart dog, a Sheltie is a smart dog. You know something, and I would have, sorry to any Bichon Frise owners out there, but I would have, if it was a Bichon Frise, I would have been like, well,
Yeah.
the house plant, like that guy doesn't know. But I was really concerned about the dog. I was really concerned that I was going to have to look at a not a live animal. I was like, no, not a Sheltie. But then when he was back, I was like, oh, he knows something.
Well, I thought the dog was going to be like lost in the vortex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't going to be like a violent, thing. It was going to be more of a like just gone.
I was waiting for dog to disappear, middle sister to disappear, youngest sister to disappear, and oldest sister to be left, which I think is more like, I think that's more just like, hey, ChatGPT, make me a horror story
maybe.
about a box fort. And I like that this one kind of goes a little bit more literary. It's just exploring a little bit more themes.
Like it gives you a
Something
resolution.
transgressive happened. Yeah, it does give you a resolution. Yeah, and it gives you a normal world answer to maybe some freak got into your gaff through the open window.
Maybe.
And I think that's frightening.
Yeah.
And it's not a monster story, but it is a monster story. And I think that literally is the word for me, because I love the setup so much. I was immediately like, more of this, please. Return the dog with something wrong with it. Return the dog with a, in my mind went 8,000 places with it. And it was so reserved and so elegant. And it left us just before anything showy happened, which I think was really kind of wise on their part. But I also was left like, oh, give me more, which I guess is a good way to leave a film, I think,
I knew this director once who, in talking about like making decisions in art for economic reasons, she was an artistic director, and she would tell all the directors that worked with her, she's like, you can have red or blue, but you can't have purple.
Oh.
In other words, don't throw a million things onto the stage, a million tricks and da-da-da-da-da. Make a choice. Yeah. Stick with red.
That's really
follow it down the avenue, and if that's the wrong choice, go with like I'm not going to give you an unlimited budget because you're not creative enough to like follow a theme to its ending.
Yeah,
and which is why I was like, I really love that this, like, because I expected, like you said, your mind goes off in a million different directions, and I think leaving it. Like, you don't see a hand coming out. You don't see, anything.
The Babadook doesn't walk out of the fucking wardrobe,
thank you.
Yeah. The monster isn't actually, this time, the female mental illness. Well done.
We got through postpartum depression.
No, nobody has postpartum depression today, girls. Like, fucking God. Like every time they do that shit, I'm like, I hate cinema. Take these cameras away from men. Like, I get so enraged by that. Because it's cheap. It's cheap work. Whereas this, it probably cost them like a trip to IKEA and a bunch of fucking boxes. Maybe they picked them up outside of Staples. I don't fucking know. But that they did make their lack of budget work for them, and what you just said about the choose one way to go, like, God, that's a really good point, because they committed to that reserved avenue, and that is really respectable. Like, that's like, okay, that was the look that we chose here, and we didn't fucking put a guy in a spooky hat in the corner.
Yeah.
Like, for no reason.
There's this last beat of this film I really, really loved upon rewatching it, which is when she comes back with the dog and the girls, her sisters have woken up, and she's like, hey, girls, I found Theo this morning. He was standing outside on the deck, outside the kitchen when I got up. And I love the white lie of it all.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't notice that at all.
It feels like a little J.D. Salinger story, like a little tiny, New Yorker short. And the
lies we tell to ourselves and or to tell to others to help ease us through the passage of life, kind of thing.
Yeah, and that it's ultimately not a big deal, but it is because she knows something and she doesn't have the answer to it. And in a lot of ways, it's also an expression of like, she's just grown up. So if this muse is 19, 20 years old, like suddenly she is like a real adult now, like in that she's taking care of these other two.
They put up the box fort, but she had to take it down.
Yeah. And when that box fort gets creepy, you gotta maybe tell a little white lie to your kids to shield them, or to your younger sisters to shield them from the truth of the world.
I think that, really light hand.
Yeah.
Especially if you don't have an explanation for it. Like, Mommy, why did Grandma die? And you're like, I really don't. I mean, that's I can't even explain it to myself. But sure.
But I think they also wields that with a really fucking light hand. It doesn't kind of go, well, girls, we had a really normal experience finding this dog, didn't we?
It's a throwaway.
It's so reserved, and I think that's what the real power is here. That it's not hammy, could really be, but it's so. Help. And the more I'm talking about it, I'm kind of talking myself, because I left it being like, the labyrinth, and then where the fuck is the Minotaur? Like, actually this film did exactly what it set out to do, and it was really elegant about it. So, that was fucking great.
Okay, let's talk about our final short. This is The Rolling Giant. This was recommended from user Chayuper. This is created by Kane Parsons, who goes by Kane Pixels on YouTube. And this is the third in I think a 4-part series called The Oldest Few. But this part 3, The Rolling Giant, is the biggest of. It is like the most fully formed, like, here's a film. It's about 45 minutes long. The other ones, like the first Oldest Few, part 1, I forget the exact name of it, but it actually deals with Julian Reverchon a little bit, which is the subject of the giant rolling.
Interesting.
Rolling giant from this movie. Did you watch them?
They're very short.
They're very short. The other 3 are all under 10 minutes long. But let's just talk about part 3, which is our big one here. What's good, guys? Wyatt here.
What's up, YouTube? What's up, YouTube? Smash that like and subscribe button. I know you've been asking me a lot of questions about the hole in the ground that goes into an underground mall. We're going to get to that in a minute.
There's only one thing. Actually, there's almost nothing I like more than Guy finds a weird hole.
Yep.
Like,
Guy goes into hole solo.
That's also House of Leaves,
yeah,
really.
Very much.
Like, Guy finds a weird hole.
Goes in with no plan.
Sure, down you go. Not a fucking butter knife on him to fight for himself.
No
in
water,
he goes.
no food.
No.
Guy Finds a Weird Hole is an amazing subgenre of horror. Like,
God, for real.
One of my favorite scares in all of horror is Man Who Is Too Long. Like, just...
Yes.
Oh, Man Is Too Long. Yeah.
Man Is Too Long. That's very scary.
Or Man is... Or Man... Thing Far Away sees you suddenly.
Yes. I love Thing Far Away seeing me.
I know that's one of yours, Jeffrey.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I like Girl Is Too Angry as well. Girl Is Too Angry.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a real running theme here.
Yeah.
The
Manic
Guy
Pixie
Finds
Demon
a-
Girl.
Manic Pixie Demon Girl. So spirit, like, there's loads.
Yeah.
The girls who are too into something.
Carrie.
That's another one.
Like, I mean, Girl Is Too Angry.
Girl too angry, girl too interested in something. I think that Pat Koja is the writer who wrote a book called The Cipher, which I remember when I worked in a bookshop years ago, somebody came in and was describing it to me and was like, do you have a copy of this book? He was like, it's called The Cipher. It's about a couple who find a weird hole. And I was like, tell me more.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, do you not know this book? I was like, no, but you need to tell me all about it. We don't have it, but will you please continue to tell me about this weird hole? It's about a couple who find a weird
you're like
fucked up hole in
typing
their
up an
wardrobe.
ISBN number or whatever. You're
I was like, who's this? What's this book? And from then on, my life was changed. It is genuinely so, it's phenomenal. It's so scary. It's about a couple who find a weird fucked up hole in their apartment and just start putting stuff in it and see what comes back out.
Yes.
It's such a bad time. It's so,
I mean, that's also the latest,
stressful.
like the latest Stephen King fairy tale is essentially boy finds hole. Boy goes into hole.
But I think Koja wrote this years ago. Like, I'm not saying she's the first person who wrote about a weird hole, but I'm saying she kind of, as a genre within horror, it's a pretty, it's a great spook. Like, it's a great time.
1991. That novel.
That's a minute ago, actually. Jesus. So maybe she was the first person to be like, I found a weird hole. But I think poor Al Wyatt has the kind of guilelessness and sort of like chirpy dopiness where he's treating this horrifying discovery as a little romp.
Oh my God. Okay. So it's so funny. Whenever we watch these horror shorts, I sometimes I get literally 5-10 seconds in and I have to pause and make sure I'm watching the short and not a stupid YouTube advertisement or, because I don't want to be misled. I'm like, wait, am I in the thing? Or is this a Chewy.com ad or whatever, Okay, so this is what I've gleaned about the realities of the situation. We've got a YouTuber. Hey, what's up, YouTube? It looks like California, which is why the Texas Underground, Dallas Underground malls seem so out of place. It looks like sort of rolling hills of California is what I got. He's in college because he says at one point, he's like, I know this could be a really quick video today because I've got to get to class.
Right.
So in Santa Cruz?
Sure. Yeah.
For California, in foresty places, maybe?
Yes. And it's this, and like you said, the sort of guileless, like open-throated kind of like, did I put these cameras on some property without talking to the owners? Yes, I did. I hope they sue me if they ever find me. Because my first thing is like, I'm sorry, you found a 3-mile tunnel underneath the ground that goes to an abandoned shopping mall, and you didn't talk to the people whose land it's on?
Or that the thing he is most afraid of until...
He's getting caught.
Well, is getting caught. He's afraid of running into other people. He's afraid of, and in fact, like, he's not even, like, he's brazen about, oh, if they figure it out, sue me. Yeah. But he kind of stumbles a second before coming to that conclusion because he's clearly thought about it and has been like, you know what? Yeah. No, they don't really have a fine. You know, they're not going to do anything. What would they do? And yeah, it's funny that he's not scared of going down a 1 mile long, 3 mile long stairwell. And you know what I thought about watching this movie? I thought about Hostel, the movie Hostel. Okay. Because it is these young men who are so their Americanness, their boyness, that makes their whiteness makes them so unafraid of venturing off the grid.
Yeah.
The year that came out, I was backpacking alone in the Netherlands.
Uh-huh.
So I have also been that moron who's like, it's fine, I'm on a jolly adventure. Like,
let's go to a third location.
I'm a fucking 20-year-old traveling alone in the world, like completely no smartphone, pre-smartphone, idiot girl, you know? And I kind of like a scrappy young hero because I feel like the fool's journey. Instead of walking off a cliff, poor Wyatt is walking down a big fucking hole with an infinite stairwell with his little bindle on his back. I think what makes this work interesting as well is that it's a solo quest. It's not a little cohort of kind of curious young documentarians. It's just one fucking nerd in a smartphone, you know? And I think that makes it more, you're kind of more on his side because you more kind of believe that he's just kind of, Asher, I'm just on my own. Like, they're not going to say anything to me. I'm not down here with a camera crew, or I'm not doing anything I shouldn't. I'm not coming down here with a squadron. It's just me. And that kind of puts him in a position of innocence because he's just some guy. And that, again, there's whiteness. There's a lot of things that operate societally around to put him in that position of heroism or put him in the position of the fool, right? But you're kind of like, okay, off you go, son.
Yeah, let's see what happens. Yeah. This film made me think of two things. One of them is funny. The other one is kind of more serious. The first one is Barbra Streisand's underground mall that she has on her compound.
She has a what?
Oh, yeah. You don't know this?
No.
Barbra Streisand has an entire mall underneath her house filled with all of her clothes and props and stuff that she has accumulated over the years. So as soon as he's like, I found this tunnel that goes in this underground mall, I was like, are you on Barbra Streisand's property?
My kingdom.
Did you just find Barbra Streisand?
That's my fucking Dollywood, man. I want to go there and have a look around.
She has an entire mall filled with all of her clothes and, you know, whatever Barbra Streisand has collected over the years. Because honestly, you got to keep that shit organized.
Yeah.
Why not build an underground compound for it all?
That's amazing. Underground is the touch there.
That's the... Yeah, right. Yeah. Like in case a nuclear war happens, we still have like the original masters for Papa, Can You Hear Me? You know, like
all of Dolly's hats in perfect, like Dolly Levi's gigantic hats in perfect condition.
I'm now looking up an article on Business Insider about Barbra Streisand's like. It's not just, she didn't call it a mall and it's just a bunch of storage units down there. Like, no, it's designed with hallways and storefronts. Like, it is a museum of everything she owns.
Yeah.
Incredible.
So she can go shopping in her own shit.
There's a whole shop of dolls?
Oh, my word.
Jeffrey, we're never getting Jeffrey back.
He's gone. He's in the mall now.
That's it.
Okay, I'm going into my own box fort right now.
That's it. There he goes. Goodbye. Okay, now the real thing that this kind of the thing that this short evoked for me is, you know, in the year of our Lord 2026 or 20, you said 2021 when this came out, right?
Well, it's when he started working on it. It came out in 20. It came out like 24 or something. 2025. One of those two.
The lack of places left to explore in our world.
Yeah.
You know, like, I think the flip from the 1900s, anything pre-1900, even into the first half of the 20th century, the world was still a place where you could walk 3 miles into the woods and get the feeling like you're the first person ever to set foot there. And those places don't exist anymore unless you're a fucking billionaire in a submarine under the ocean. Yeah. So for a solo adventurer to go and find something that he's like, I filmed it, nobody has entered or left, there's no footprints, there's no like the idea of being the first person to climb Mount Everest, to do the thing, to, you know, Shackleton kind of shit, for a person in 2024 to have that experience is so inspiring. And then the thing you find is the most soulless American banality at the heart of it is beautiful and terrifying to me.
Yeah, this magical infinite staircase, and one of the effects it's used. So this film is a piece of animation. It's made in Blender.
I did not know that. I asked Jeffrey. I was like, for sure they just found an abandoned mall and they got permission to film there.
It's modeled after an existing mall, which was demolished in 2023.
Yep.
And it is.
I've been in that mall.
No way. Like,
did you see a giant puppet?
No, I would have been there in like the 1990s when that mall was like hopping.
Because it had a lovely 90s architecture. What they did was they modeled photographs and maps of the original space in Blender, and they ran it through exquisite filters that give it a real tangible reality. And if you, after a minute spending time in the space, you do realize that you're not seeing any limbs, you're not seeing any reflections really. The cinematography is actually really, there's a lot of sleight of hand that lets them make this piece of animation feel as though it is operating on a smartphone. It's really elegant. It's a really great trick. It makes me think of those mirror hall tricks that they do on like the Haunted Mansion, where it's just a little alteration of what they have, and it has this expansive impact of total exit from reality. And it starts in the stairwell, where there are these moments where he's going up the stairs and moments where he's going down, and the cut is very seamless, and the disorientation of that kind of geometry is really carefully done, because he's on that fucking stairwell for a couple of minutes. Because
it goes down like one long, turns, and then it's another long, and like you never see.
There's an up, you know. There's this like complete disorient. It's like the Escher. Like that kind of MC Escher kind of vibe.
Sure.
It's awful.
The first thing that made me go, nope, was the fact that, you know, because like the first couple of steps, you know, it's concrete steps, and it looks man-made. Like it's not, you know, this is not like ancient, but it's the fact that there's electric light bulbs. He's like, oh yeah, this first light bulb is burnt out. I don't know what that means. I was like, wait, there's light bulbs?
Yeah.
Nope.
This is not an accident.
Nope.
This is an access point.
I do love the sort of, like you were saying, the sort of infinite, you know, you can't, like it goes down so far you can't see. And I also love, he's like, man, I walked down this thing and up this thing yesterday and my knees are killing me. And this is, you know, like miles it goes down, which is possible, impossible.
Probably pretty tough. I imagine it gets real toasty warm about a mile below the Earth's surface. That's my guess.
The digging equipment.
Magma-ish.
But part of that warping that we see as he moves through these staircases that don't appear to apply to gravity, there's this very subtle implication, again, that we're broaching a boundary here.
I really love it because a lot of sci-fi and horror deal with a portal, right? You've crossed the veil, right? Like you've gone through into this alt dimension or what have you, which is clearly what's happened here. But what this film does with this stairwell is it shows you the content of that portal, and I love that. I love like what the portal is. And it begs the question of how long does the portal stay open? Things like that, like how deep is the portal?
Why is the portal there?
But like just the content, we get to see the architecture, the inner architecture of the portal, and I think that's really cool. And it made me think of, to go back to architectural things, that Frank Lloyd Wright I learned from our friend Jen Levitt, who used to be a docent at the Hollyhock House in L.A., which is a Frank Lloyd Wright building. But it is, he would design the opening foyer, the right when you entered the house, he built very deliberately low ceilings. And darkness in that area because he wanted people to get out of the doorway. He hated when people came over. Everyone would just stand in the doorway and chit-chat. And he wanted the architecture to force people out. So then he would have these vaulted, very well-lit living areas because it would attract the eye and make people want to just go into the open area. And I love that this portal is this tight little space, this tiny, dank dungeon of a stairwell. And then when he gets into the mall, there is something majestic about the mall scene.
Well, it's also the black door, the black...
the black door and the dungeon
that doesn't belong in a mall.
No,
that doesn't belong in an underground bunker. That doesn't it is not. It belongs in neither space. It is
a murder shed.
That's a murder shed.
That murder shed shit with the bad tiles.
Yes.
That are covered in white mold. That is like the only time we see decay with a capital D. There's this sort of transient line between the stairwell and the mall, which is rotting.
And I love the commentary that he's like, it doesn't smell bad. It appears decayed, but it smells like a field of wheat.
It smells like cut grass.
It smells like cut grass. Like it doesn't smell that. And listen, if shit doesn't smell right, don't go.
Yeah.
That's a
use all your senses here.
Yeah.
Like the first space within the mall that we see features something that shouldn't be unsettling, but I found it really stressful, which is this cash desk.
Yes.
And I think that really sets the tone for something, the things being where they shouldn't be, being really distressing when it's handled with a certain kind of space and silence. Why the fuck is that there?
Yeah.
Also, the rusted metal half open gate that you have to crawl under. I'm like, no.
Yeah, because we
that carpet now.
Those two portals, the dungeon door and that old wooden murder shed door.
That's kind of like fingers curled up. I'm like, that is going to close.
Those are the only beats. Yeah, that you're like, this doesn't look like a mall. And then when we get into the empty room cash desk, it actually takes a second to process. What am I looking at? What room is this? And then when you get
it's like walking into a Kinko's that's been stripped of everything.
Kind of, yeah, definitely. But before we even get there, I'm like, I don't even know that's a desk. I'm like, what is this weird wood structure? And it's not until, for me, that I saw the lift gates, the security gates for the front of the mall stores. I'm like, oh, that's a mall. I recognize those gates anywhere.
And because I went in totally blind, I didn't know what we were doing. And because I knew he was the backrooms guy, I was like, I guess we're going to the fucking backrooms again.
Limited spaces.
Sign me up. But also, there's a real commitment there to, no, it's a whole mall.
Yeah.
It's very big. That sudden exhale and expansiveness into this huge sort of underground cathedral, this empty kind of bastion of commerce. It's so stressful to look at.
Yeah.
It's really, really scary.
Refreshing wild cherry cola meets smooth cream. The treat you deserve. Pepsi Wild Cherry and Cream. Treat yourself.
This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
So Jeffrey knows that when we started this podcast, we talked a lot about what scares us personally. And for me, my first job was at a mall. I worked at 3 different places at that mall, and it was always having to take out the garbage at the end of the night, either through the back hallways or right through the middle of the place that is made to accommodate a lot of people that you are the only one in. That I don't fuck with. I don't like it. It stresses me out. And I think it's so funny because he's all like, I'm going to tiptoe around here, but like, nope, run. Like,
Back
I would
upstairs.
be like,
Out of there.
I'd be not full sprint, but like the urgency
At a clip.
at a clip, walking with a purpose, which is find the exit.
See, I love these malls because Ireland is full of them. And in the infancy, in the first sort of season of my daughter's life, it was winter. And you don't sleep, obviously. But you know what does be fucking open at crazy hours over the Christmas? Shopping centres.
Oh, yeah.
So we made it our business to sort of practice living on planet Earth with an infant in the weird suburban shopping centres of Dublin. So I became really romanced by these endless indoor space. I've always loved them. Like, I mean, let's get fucking real about it. I love that shit. But I really became intimately acquainted with how these places are laid out and how the sort of architecture and they sort of have they're like a body, if that makes sense. They have kind of functions, they have arteries, they have chambers, they have a real purpose. And I normally find those big dead malls super romantic. And like, look at this spectacle, like removed of its purpose. Look at this place that once hummed, like they're like a giant corpse. Like, look at all this once had so much life and now it has none. But in this context, for the first time, I understood why these are scary places to people. Because he invokes, with what he doesn't show and his use of shadows, that exact feeling of being fucking sent out to take the trash out. And it's dark and you're in a corridor you shouldn't be in. And the halogen lights are wrong.
Jaunty music playing.
As if from nowhere.
And anyone could be watching you from anywhere.
You could be rushed from any angle. Yeah.
Like we were talking about, freaking ourselves out earlier. It's always the walking when you can hear your own footsteps. And like the scariest thing is to hear another set of footsteps, which is kind of what you're expecting I think that's what this, the majority of this film rides upon is when is the other going to appear?
It very much is similar to being in the woods, right? It's a similar vibe to a woods scare because you could just feel seen from any side, and who knows what's out there in those spaces.
Mostly it's a chipmunk, to be honest. If you hear something in the woods, it's probably a chipmunk or a bird because they're loud as fuck.
They are.
But because of the way that this space is presented, and malls have such social purpose, that this appears in this it's the place. The thing where it shouldn't be is also another good horror kind of motif. Is like, this shouldn't be here, and that writ large. There's so many questions and no answers, and even if there are answers, none of them are good. Why is this here? Who runs this? Who else is here? You're not going to like this. And like, having worked in malls or shopping centers here myself for many years, you also have the strange kind of quantity of all these units where different people who you have never met worked. They're these little isolated worlds where you might know everyone who works in the fucking, I don't know, the greeting card store. Don't know why I'm there, or in the video game store or whatever. But you probably don't know anyone who works in the shoe shop. And there's there are so many pockets of possibility in a realm like this. And within this underground mall, we have all these shuttered shop fronts. So we don't know, there are so many, in the way that there are infinite retail possibilities. If you go to a mall, you can buy anything you want. In this mall, there could be any reason. You're suddenly aware of all these choices, right? All the choices of life are laid out before you. And any of them could be the reason that this mall is down here, and still none of them are good. It's it's kaleidoscopic for me.
So his exploration of this space, we get all the recognition of your classic, indoor mall sort of get up, your indoor American mall. We've got some leftover signage of some cultural events happening, the Parade of Giants, and also my favorite, the food court sign that's got a PSA on it that says, "How many veggies can you name that start with a B?"
Can you name 5 veggies?
Can you name 8 veggies that start with a B? We can.
I was like, I can name 1. Broccoli?
We got stuck on one, and then we looked up a bunch of them, and we were so annoyed at ourselves.
Oh, no.
Because we eat this butternut squash.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
bok choy.
Okay. Bok choy.
Beetroot.
That's a good one.
Come on.
Beets.
Right there.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was what we were like. We were like, Jesus,
banana pepper. Yeah,
Oh,
sure.
okay. There you go. There you go.
Bell pepper.
Bell pepper.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. We beat the note. We're smarter than a fifth grader.
Yeah, so now we get to leave them all unscathed.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is like, okay, so the signage is always like, can you do this? As in, it's a secret to unlock. It is say the magic word. As soon as I saw that fucking gumball machine, I was like, put a quarter. Because like, we're entering into video game space. We're entering into, it's like anything and everything. Touch every table. Search. Look around you.
Yeah.
Put a quarter in the gumball machine. Take that gumball to. It is wrapped in foil that says this. Read the message. We want and expect these open sandbox video games to lead us through, and when they don't, the internet get real confused and real mad.
But you know what this piece is? It's so great because it does set up to be like, is this a puzzle to be solved? Because he's trying to, in fact, Wyatt, our character here, is trying to like solve his way out. But ultimately what this piece is, this is just found art. So Kane Parsons found the art of all of these artists that lived inside the decay of this real mall. Yeah. It was only artists left by the time they tore this place down. And in fact, they desperately tried to, on YouTube, I've got as my backdrop, this is the Sanger Harris department store building. It's iconic in Dallas. And there's still a couple left in Texas for the Sanger Harris department store. But these beautiful tall arches and this mosaic tile, but it was made with asbestos. And so the construction crews were like, no, it's already going to be expensive enough to dispose of the asbestos, let alone preserve it. So they couldn't
save it. Keep it the way it is, but don't let anybody go near it kind of thing?
Yeah, they couldn't do it. It was just going to cost too much to preserve an asbestos-based whatever that material is. But the artists that were left in this mall, they watched it all decay, and they took tons and tons and tons of photos. So every sign you see, every storefront, that's real.
That's how they recreated them all digitally.
Digital rendering is from a bunch of people posting this shit online. When he found that photo of the statue of Julien, or the puppet of Julien Revachon. And, of course, these artists see this puppet in there in this decayed mall with hardly any lights on, taking photos, being like, look at this creepy shit. And it's inspiring to other artists. But what we get is in The Oldest View Part 3 is just a piece of found art that he then decides to play around with. He's manipulating the found art of these photos to just exist inside. But I like that Wyatt thinks, I can solve my way out of this. And the found art is like, nope. I'm just a weird photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy, and you are trapped, sucker.
But counterpoint, he actually does. Like, he does begin to a kind of apply video game logic by the time he enters the office, for lack of a better word, which I love that it's like everything is empty except one space. That's like, I was like, ooh, plants. Ooh, art. There's things. There's signs of life.
Crucially, we don't see his hands at any point. He doesn't. This is how you know it's an animation. This is how you know it's rendered.
You never see him.
He doesn't pick anything up.
Because when he finds that big stack of papers that's like, turn to page 9,000, find document number. I was like, okay, now we know we're in video game space. And sure enough, he does. And he's like, exit through AMC. So it then becomes he's found his map. He's found his key. Stay away from the golem, which as soon as we got online, I was like, Jeffrey, I just would have kicked that thing over. Just kick it over.
What did we say? Well, the note that at one point when he first witnesses the puppet in the distance, he goes, I don't like this thing. And I'm like, maybe none of us like this thing. That is a fucked up guy. And me and Carrie, we were watching it together, and we both got so distressed by it. I started calling him Billy Big Hands. And that helped me. Not be really upset by him.
Coping.
Because on one hand, I was like, I just fucking kick him over. Yeah. And then every time you hear it again, I was like, I wouldn't kick him over. I'd run away because he's really scary.
He's also,
and he's got
go to a small space.
Yeah.
Big things don't fit in small space.
Like, why does his movement is wrong? Like, it's really well done. Like, you think, this fucker's on wheels. He's not getting near the stairs. He is, yeah. Oh, he is, yeah.
And he kind of and when he like sort of leans in at the very end, you're like, oh, that shouldn't move like that.
I wish he wouldn't. Like, so Billy Big Hands is sort of not quite pursuing him, because after a while he kind of gets away, and then it's Billy Big Hands, and he's always far away, and his movements and his stalking is really juddery and it's just done in a way that's really upsetting. And he's a horrible. One of my notes is "Go home, Billy." Horrible, very stressful, but he is. And there's this music that comes in and out, which I don't know if it's
okay.
Music,
I want to talk
music.
real quick about this, which is I think our first big scare for me. And I think it's brilliant because he's in this dark mall. Like, we can kind of barely see things. And then there's a moment where all of the lights start coming on. Like, the mall is opening for the day. And all of that kind of, like, happy, upbeat muzak is playing. But it's not filling with anybody. Nothing is. And when all of those lights come on, I'm like, oh, no. I do not. And it's funny because in a horror, to get scared when the lights come on is really wild.
But it's great. Like,
if it's open for business, what comes in for business?
What is the business?
Where do they enter? Like what is going to appear?
Yeah. And this is also when it freaks him out, and he goes running back to his stairwell, and it is collapsed with rubble. And he's like, oh, I really fucked up, you guys.
Understatement.
It's just brilliantly done. It's really upsetting.
It's so scary.
He's fucked. He's completely done for.
And it's then later we get some more exploration of the space, but then when there's a change where we hear kind of what to me sounded like thunder.
It sounds like rolling thunder. Yeah.
The rolling thunder. The music warps down, and then the lights start flickering. And not all of them go off, but many of them do. And that's when he sees the giant puppet, Billy Big Hands, over by the AMC Theater upstairs.
With this like leafy fingers.
It's so scary when you see it from far away for the first time. You're like, what the fuck is that? And he goes toward it, and it's not there.
Oops.
Fuck that.
Oops.
Spider that is no longer on the wall is scarier than spider on a wall.
Yes. That's why you should talk to your spiders.
Plans.
You're like, hey, if you chill out up there, I'm cool. But the second you disappear, I gotta leave this room.
Yeah. And they always do. Yeah.
Now, okay, so while we're talking about entrances and exits, he finds an exit. He kind of makes it through one of the main arteries, follows the lit up exit sign, and it's that like tall glass mall opening that is completely boulder rocked in. Like, it's not even bouldered, it's like built into the ground. So that's fucked up.
Right. It's
because
brilliant.
At this point, I'm like, you see that trash can over there? I'm smashing my way. Oh, no, you're underground.
You're underground.
But then he finds one little crack of light that leads to a dark forest. And he's like about to open the gate when Billy Big Hands comes back. Because I'm like, that's an exit. I don't like what's in the dark forest. Probably nothing good. But it's at least a different level than the mall level, you know. But he never pursues the only exit he sees. And it seems like that's what Billy Big Hands is trying to like ward him away.
Well, it's also right around this point too, when he's trying to figure out all of these exit possibilities, that he hears something, and we've set this up, by the way, throughout, where he just maybe hears a noise and he flips the camera around in a paranoid way and nothing's there. Well, he hears a noise and he pans around, and that fucking Billy Big Hands is right behind him.
And that's when he starts exploring the behind.
It's playing blank with him for a bit.
Yeah, don't look from.
Yeah, as long as you're looking at it, it's not moving.
Yeah, the angels from Doctor Who, you know, like that whole thing.
Because he doesn't really have rules necessarily. And again, something that I think this guy has attempted to do with the backrooms is operate from, again, found art and implement a kind of a narrative structure and rules onto something, right?
Yeah.
Kerry made the observation that this is not the back rooms, this is the front rooms. And that's what's scary about it, is because it's a place that we should know. And I think what's scary about Billy Big Hands is that he doesn't have any rules.
Mm-hmm.
You think he might have a rule, but
it's like the queen on the chessboard that can move in too many directions. Yeah.
Yeah. If the queen on the chessboard had big fucking hands and a terrible face, and could go up the stairs, even though that's real.
Yeah, can get on an escalator.
Yeah.
It's the lawlessness of the space that's really compelling. By 3 or 4 minutes into any cursory peruse of internet horror, you understand that the back rooms has 8 things that it does and kind of entities, blah, 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 that live there. Great. Delightful.
People love rules. Rules give us comfort.
Rules. They love rules. And even within horror, you have it's a language, right? You're the similar way to do the way we discussed earlier about the beats with bigger horror things. You're well, I know what's going on here, but Billy, don't know what his fucking problem is, and what he's going to do.
What's the objective? What's the motivation? How are they going to? Yeah. We love those things. Comfort us.
Yeah. I love the breaking of the rules because we do set up that very familiar. The first thing we see is the monster that looks like it's there, but it turns out it's not when you look again. That's rule 1 of maybe the monster, it's going to pop up at various places. But then the next time it pops up, it is pursuing him, but it's under the rules of the angels from Blink.
Yeah.
The rule 3 is he goes running up the stairs. So we're hide upstairs. It can't get you. And we see it stop at the bottom of the stairs, and it's still under angel rules. But then it turns around and rolls away on its own. So we're oh shit, it just violated the Blink rule.
Yeah.
And so later when we see it, he goes up the escalator. That thing gets on a fucking escalator.
Yeah.
And at that point, you're oh, shit, this whole thing is fucked. And then you pointed out earlier, Cecil, there's a moment where it comes at him. He gets away, but you see it lean in to look through the crevice. You're oh, it can... It has it takes yoga. It does. It's flexible.
It's not on a shopping cart. Shopping cart puppets don't move like that.
Nope. Fucking fuck.
So it's something much worse. Ugh.
I think one of the scarier parts for me is he gets away from it. He goes running. He finds a boarded up storefront, busts through this wooden panel replacing a piece of glass.
Yeah, there's a panic moment. Yeah. He's just fuck this, I'm out here. And he absolutely boots it through. And that's quite stressful to watch as well, this sort of crashing around.
And you can see the monster come up to the window, which is so scary because you can only see the bottom half of it in the windows. And as he's running down that back hall, you hear those windows crash.
Yeah.
So that thing is breaking its way in. That thing can do shit that you couldn't fathom. But yeah, this is when he finds, to your point earlier, Cecil, this is when he finds his way into the admin offices of the mall. And they have
the gallery.
Yeah. So we have a bunch of photos of Dallas on the wall, a bunch of maps of the mall.
It's also just the not soulless, but the generic architecture of, we have here's framed artwork of a sunset, of a painting of a horse. And then you realize it's also the architecture of malls. And look at this glorious shopping center in who knows where.
Uh-huh.
And you're ugh, that looks like a Cheesecake Factory.
and it's an unfulfilled promise, right?
Yeah.
That's what all of it is. And it definitely, these spaces did operate within a sense of wonder at a time in history, but that's dead now. And I remember the first time I went to a Cheesecake Factory, I found it a hall of splendor. Whenever I'm in wider America, I will go because I find it fucking fascinating.
The glory, the glorious, the riches, the bounty.
Everywhere in art
the
gallery.
Opulence.
Everywhere you look, you can make it into an art gallery. And I think the Cheesecake Factory is fascinating.
I've still never been.
But I do think, oh my God.
I've never been
the
to
fucking
one.
Egyptian.
Sarah, I make this promise to you. I will not enter a Cheesecake Factory unless you, I would love my first foray into the Cheesecake Factory to be with you.
Next time you are in the States, Sarah,
Yeah.
Let's all three. If we're all still single at age 30, we're all going to meet at the Cheesecake Factory.
We'll meet at the Cheesecake Factory.
Let's all kiss at the Cheesecake Factory.
I'm taking so many edibles, so just be warned. I might be nonverbal, but I'll still be enjoying myself, I promise.
It is. Look, I love putting a dot on the horizon to look forward to, because the Egyptian aspects of the interiors combined with sort of a Tuscan vibe.
I was going to say, it feels
strange.
very like Tuscan.
But it's Egyptian. It's weird.
It's an unfulfilled promise. Is what it is.
A drop of Las Vegas that somehow exited the main host body and has like landed and rooting into your neighborhood shopping mall kind of thing.
This huge facsimile, right? And I think that like I love that bullshit, right? But also like it is also a great failure, because it was swallowed whole by the internet. All of it was rendered pointless, and they don't like. My local shopping centre is called Dunamede, and I care about it very much. And I was up there recently, and outside the little canteen in the atrium, tables and tables of women and men over 60 just having coffee together. Like, these third places have real importance to people. And their architecture and their design and their weird art of sunsets and their maps of themselves, you know, like they sort of announce themselves to their visitors, or they did. But that announcement now feels like sort of sad, because we know we can't buy everything we'd ever need there. We know we can't buy everything we'd ever need. Like, I think as a people in the West, we have moved into somewhere different, and the post sort of recessionary hollowing out of these spaces with the rise of the internet, like empty shop faces that are shuttered are menacing. Yeah. So I don't really fucking want to have a cup of coffee next to one, frankly.
Encountering other people is menacing. Going to share, like, why would I want to, deal with the aggressive parking, deal with that other people are scary. Why can I not drop ship that shit to my door?
Yeah.
Community has become, physical community has become scary.
I do think that we buy things online because of convenience, but I think we deep down, like, there's a lizard brain part of us that wants to be around people.
Oh, for sure.
And I think it's so much scarier to see the empty storefront is so horrifying, because it does remind us of a cave. Yeah, it reminds us of like, there's a hole in the ground, and I don't want to be near the hole in the ground, for the giant monster will come out and devour me.
Or they tried to make something work here and it fucking didn't.
Yeah.
And like a ruined mall and an empty place like that reeks of failed community.
Yeah. I'm sitting next to failure.
Yeah. This is the tomb of Ozymandias that used to be so important, that used to rule his empire, and now it is just dust.
Yeah.
And vape shops.
Vape shops and Russian mafia owned, like things that are not what they appear.
Well, and let's not miss the irony of a very successful 20-year-old YouTube filmmaker, where the final battle of this epic short takes place at an abandoned AMC movie theater.
Of course.
So good.
It's the I can make a movie on my iPhone versus the monoculture. If you're not playing at 6,000 screens nationwide, worldwide, then what even are you? Is that even a film?
Right.
Yeah. Like it's really lovely. There's a moment towards the end where you sort of see a flash of the AMC sign, and the A is fucking crooked. And I was like, such a middle finger. I love it. Yeah,
as he's so he finds his map. He's like, okay, exit through the AMC center, and then he's got to get up there, and he's like, emergency. I love that he's like, find the elevator. I'm like, bitch, the elevator.
Oh, you want to go somewhere small with mirrors?
You want to go somewhere small in like an up and you want to go through another fucking up and down?
No.
In this? Absolutely not.
No, and especially in an abandoned building, because no one is going to help you if that elevator gets stuck. No, you don't want a fucking elevator.
Death.
You don't know where that fucking door is going to open either. That can open anywhere.
Yeah.
You don't know where that's going to open.
Yes. No. And he's like, okay, so no, that's closed. Emergency exit through the skylight. And again, it's still like we trust our signage. We're like, oh, thank God someone put a sign up. but it means he has to crawl up into the rafters. And I like how the closer he gets, sort of Billy Big Hands in pursuit, but it's like the mall starts to crack and crumble. The lightning flashes and there's like horses on the ground.
Dead horses.
Dead
huge.
horses on the
In
ground.
the flashes, you start to see that maybe living things have wandered in here before.
Yeah.
Like, ugh, it's great.
And I do find it interesting that there is a stairway to exit that looks very similar to the stairway he came down, but because he's flipping out, he misses his footing and plummets.
You know what I noticed on this view, though? He doesn't miss his footing. The metal girder that he grabs breaks.
Oh, does it? Oh.
And so this is, to me, when I was saying earlier that this is a piece of found art that is, you can't win. He can't win. This is La Cabina, right? So last month we covered the 1972 Spanish horror short about a man who gets trapped in a phone booth. And this month we're watching a 2025 horror short about a man who gets trapped in an abandoned mall. But the device itself from the get-go is a honey trap. Hole in the ground for urban adventurer.
Yeah,
honey
Urban
trap.
X.
Yeah. And so the whole thing is a Venus flytrap for, hey, what's up, YouTube? Wyatt here.
I found something that
it's a
no
honey
one has
trap
ever found.
For a social media influencery type. Come with me. And
yeah. Come with me into the underground mall.
And so I think whether the mastermind of the mall is the rolling giant itself, or if the rolling giant is just one of many parts of the actual living.
It's just the most
being.
minotaur.
Yeah.
Of it, you know?
Yeah, it's the most minotaur, that the labyrinth itself is alive and is its own force. But I think it designed this for him to be like, you know what? It's time to finish you off. I get paid by the hour. I feel like I've made my money for the day. Here's the end result. Here's how you feed me.
I'll let you wander for a bit. Oh, you found a map. Good for you. Follow that map.
So, very anglerfish. Here's my dangly little light bulb.
Yeah.
Come to me, chomp.
Okay.
So I think when I saw this time that the girder breaks as he falls, I'm like, oh, it had it in for him the whole time.
Yeah, it was the whole building. Yeah. Everything from the gumball machine all the way up.
Yeah.
The little maps. It was just, the building is the monster. The house is made of leaves, blah, but like it is, you know. And I really love that as menacing architecture goes.
Yeah,
that like he is inside the monster the whole time. The mall is like a body, and he has just been moseying around until the jaws clamped shut.
And our last shot after he falls is Wyatt. It's a shot of Wyatt on the ground.
Yeah, we see him.
Well, it's so even before we see Wyatt, it's just a shot of a tree. It's again, it's the rolling hills, the California hills, and it's like after you've looked at something so unnatural for 40 minutes to see a fucking tree, a leaf, and not like a leaf on the ground, not a monstera plant in a pot, like
no, the wild
nature.
Yeah,
feels like a wash, feels like a reset.
I feel like I'm very cautiously invoking this now, so please forgive me and please disagree with me, but I tell you what it is. It's kind of David Lynch. Like it actually, and that was my thought. I was like, you see a lot of poor impersonations of Lynch's work. You see a lot of people who are kind of putting on the wig and kind of doing the bit. But I think what the work has been done here in terms of tone and giving the atmosphere space to breathe and become frightening to the viewer, and in terms of contrast, showing this sort of great, not industrial, the mall isn't industrial, but it is a site of industry, and then juxtaposing this sort of final image of defeat with the great lung of the tree. Fucking cool. That's cool shit. Like,
and there's the fucking face
in the woods. He's dead on the ground. And then I know, I was like, is that a skull?
No.
Is that a skull behind that log?
Nope, that's
Billy.
Julian Rivershawn, Billy Big Hands, watching all the action, saying, got him.
So, which again goes back to this, like, why horror? What are the primeval things that like tick our brain off? And one of them is to find faces in the leaves.
Yeah.
And so for this literally to like be like, look, nature, but also something's behind a log that has been stalking you this whole time.
Because ultimately something on that land killed him. And but it was, the honey trap was something delusional within his mind, like the last moments of his life. And probably this whole movie happened in a flash of a second as whatever on this land darted him in the fucking neck or however he died.
Yeah.
God, it's great. It's really scary. Like,
It's so
and
scary.
I felt that simple awe that I haven't felt in ages, with my big cunty cultural studies head on me being like, okay,
I've
tell
seen
me a
it all.
story then, kid, you know?
Yeah.
And I genuinely was like kind of awestruck by this. And not because it's, I mean, probably because it's like ticking all the boxes of bullshit that I'm interested in, but because actually that would nearly make it harder to like. I'm like, oh, malls, you want to talk to me about malls? Let's go, you know? Like, oh, you want to talk to me about haunted houses? Really? Let's go. And I was so impressed. Like, I feel like I saw something quite new in something quite old. And I don't know how that happened. And I was thinking, I was so fucking freaked out by the end of it. I had to walk around, turn the lights on. I had to walk around. Kerry had hung his big coat,
You sent me
like his outdoor
that
coat.
video of that.
Oh, the coat hanging in the shower, it had been rained on, and I got frightened of my life.
Oh,
Like
no.
it made the world seem wrong after it was over. And the last time that happened to me, hand on my heart, was when I went to see Inland Empire in the cinemas. So that's a really long time ago. And I then obviously had to go and watch all the other episodes and was like, okay, I have to desensitize myself. It's like watching Requiem for a Dream over and over again, so you're not upset by it anymore, like that kind of shit. And I then watched the Coda, the last installment, which sort of offers this alternate ending, which is interesting in itself. It's nice that he gave us this fail state, like a video game. He gives us a fail state where he plummets to his death and it's fucking game over. And then he gives us from the moment of defeat, he turns it around. So it's sort of, here's two ways out of this story, which I think is like very postmodern, very convenient for the viewers. But also it speaks back to the root of this as a piece of animation, which was cultivated in the world of a video game. So it hits reset from the moment of death, and it allows him to escape, and also allows a sort of a slightly different vantage point on the ending. Which
Interesting.
Was Barbara Streisand in it?
No,
Was it Barbra
but I tell you
Streisand?
what, like I said about things going on the road that shouldn't go on the road, Billy Big Hands takes it off across the big old states of America by himself.
Oh, yay!
And
yeah.
I loved. It wasn't silly, and there are some really wonderful shots and really wonderful uses of that puppet in this sort of coda. And it's very quiet, which I like as well. I like a kind of an ear silent movie, but I think that him splitting the ending into two branches of a tree is really a compelling choice. And I think I kind of think it's masterwork, guys. I think it's one of my favorite things I've seen in a really long time. And I was thinking about it today, even before the call. I was like, God, I don't know if I'm going to be able to feel like that again for a while. Like I was really, really impressed. Like I really liked it.
I'm really enjoying all of these horror shorts that we've been covering for these Friday the 13th episodes, because they're a shit ton of fun, and we're finding some amazing stuff that we wouldn't normally get to. So that was the end. We don't, there's nothing to really rate here. Approachability. I thought this last one was scary as shit, but I think the rest of them are pretty mild and fun. And even this one, like you can hear our whole description. It's more about the creepiness of it than anything else. Content warnings for a strobe effect that happens in this one briefly. There you go. Sarah Griff, thank you so much for joining us once again. Where can people find you and your work in this world?
Thank you, Jeffrey. It's such a joy to be back. It's wonderful. I always feel like a kind of a big boost after being here. In terms of my work, you can find my novels anywhere that books are sold. When I was on tour across America earlier on in 2025, I met a lot of your listeners on the road. So if you are a listener who has come up to me in a bookstore and said, "Hey, I found you through the horror podcast," hello again and thank you. My most recent novel was called Eat the Ones You Love, and it's about two women who work in a flower shop who are maligned by a talking plant. It is about malls. So like it's really about working in a mall. So if that's your vibe, then maybe this book's for you. My next novel, what a sentence to say out loud. is coming in September 2026, and it's called Strange is the Light. It's about a group of friends who grow up together and play a game every summer. Unfortunately, somebody else finds out about the game and uses the secrets of their lives and their childhoods to architect something terrible.
Yikes.
So that's coming in September, and it's called Strange is the Light.
Okay.
I have read all of your books, and Eat the Ones You Love is one of my favorite books that I read all of last year, just period. I think it's just brilliant. I will always tell my friends that their work is great, but I really do think that you wrote something truly special. So I'm so excited for more iterations. Also, thanks, y'all, for listening. Thanks, Cecil, for talking with me. And if y'all have thoughts on any of these horror shorts, let us know at Random Horror 9 on Blue Sky, Instagram, or Patreon, where we have public discussion threads that are open to all members, free or paying. It doesn't matter. And watch Evil Dead 2 with us this weekend. Come on back for next Tuesday's regular episode. Have a restful night with no giant-handed puppets following you in the store. Nothing. Boo.
Boo!
Random Number Generator Horror Podcast number 9 is hosted by me, Jeffrey Craner, and Cecil Baldwin. Find more of our work on the podcast Welcome to Night Vale. This show is produced by Night Vale Presents. It is edited by me with music by Cecil and logo by David Baldwin. See original artwork for each episode by David on Instagram. Join us for live streams on Patreon. Watch our recording sessions on YouTube. Chat with us on Blue Sky and contribute to our movie selection process on Letterboxd. We're in all of those places at Random Horror 9. Thank you to our special guest this week, Maria Griffin. Read Sarah's newest novel, Eat the Ones You Love, wherever you get your books. Today's scary story. You're alone in an abandoned mall. Your parents dropped you off there in 1992. They'll be back any minute now.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistant's assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.